Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Calvin R. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. As it turns out, Tesla's holiday update .44.30.8 may have some more upgrades than we initially thought. One of which being a seamless transition from Wi-Fi at your home to cellular connectivity. And usually when you get in your car and leave your house, that's when you're using things like the navigation or your garage control. So eliminating those connection gaps could actually be a pretty nice feature. Not only will this result in a smoother transition from Wi-Fi to cellular, but they're also talking about improved Wi-Fi speeds as well. Yesterday we shared that video with the reverse lane markers that are now on the main display, showing you the path of your vehicle. And now for vehicles with ultrasonic sensors, this update brings displayed distance to nearby objects now dynamically changing based on your steering wheel position. Then those vehicles without ultrasonic sensors no longer show distances to objects, coinciding with the high fidelity park assist. This image was being shared around showing a Model Y rear wheel drive, saying it does not qualify for the federal tax credit. Just wanted to clarify though, this was an inventory vehicle. Going to the official fueleconomy.gov website showing the current vehicles that qualify January 1st this year and after, you can see the rear wheel drive Model Y is only for 2024. All other Tesla models were 2023 as well. Simply put, it's just for the inventory Model Y rear wheel drive vehicles, specifically some that were for the 2023 model year that do not qualify. Some of you are asking if it's a tax credit or a rebate, where the rebate, everybody gets it regardless of their tax liability. To my understanding, it is indeed the latter. So consumers are eligible for the tax break regardless of your tax burden. On X, Anthony Spina, a former Tesla service tech, said the last efficiency package Tesla did was 2021 for the Model 3 and Y, which had more efficient motors and moved from the, he said 77 kilowatt hours, he corrected himself in the comments, 74 kilowatt hours up to 82 kilowatt hours. Wonder if maybe we finally see a larger than 100 kilowatt hour battery in the S and X. It wouldn't be by much, but it would be nice if they at least get a chemistry upgrade that increases capacity without increasing weight or amount of cells. It's about that time. As we touched on last week, Green the Only said Model Y, S, and X efficiency package should be coming in 2024. Then he added the biggest thing was the upgraded pack. The Model 3 was a bit more substantial as it got the bigger pack, updated drive units, electronic oil pump, and the rear wheel drive moved to the LFP pack. Just some more confirmation that these efficiency packages can indeed be somewhat material. We also have Not a Tesla app confirming with their sources who have been reliable in the past that the Model S and X will be getting the interior ambient lighting and the front bumper camera. What this means is by the end of 2024, there's a chance that all Tesla models except the Semi will have the interior ambient lighting if we get Project Juniper before the end of the year. Right now, there's no official timeline on when the interior lights and the front bumper camera will actually make it to the Model S and X. I've also seen a significant number of people talking about the Model S and X moving to 48 volts and steer-by-wire, but a Tesla engineer recently said that those technologies were really only going to be for future Tesla vehicles. Now, yes, in the long run, the next 3 to 5 years, maybe all of the Tesla lineup would switch over to that type of technology, but in the near term, I would not be expecting it based on those comments. We have a Mexican source talking about the job creation that will happen this year, a lot of which will be driven by the Tesla effect. And they said this year it'll be driven by the indirect jobs that Tesla will generate with the construction of the factory, then of course the jobs it'll create once the factory opens. The governor of Nuevo León, Samuel Garcia, who may not have the most credibility based on some of his comments about Giga Mexico in the past, assured people the start of construction of Giga Mexico will begin in the first quarter of this year. He said part of the works that the state government is actually carrying out, some of the surrounding infrastructure for the factory, should be visible in January. Specifically, they'll notice accesses, avenues, and ramps. Some things in this last paragraph may have been lost in translation, but the final line, the startup or the beginning of construction, must be this quarter. Nick Patane on X shared this screenshot from scheduling a demo drive on Tesla's website. The Model 3 is actually an image of the Model 3 Highland or the Model 3 Plus. Speaking of this, let's clear this up once and for all. Going forward, how would you all prefer I refer to this vehicle? The Model 3 Plus or the Model 3 Highland? Let me know below. But bringing us back down to earth, it's not yet everyone in the United States that's seeing the upgraded Model 3. Where I'm at, I'm still seeing the older version. For whatever it's worth, I'm also hearing that some Tesla locations across the country have already stopped accepting demo drive requests for the Model 3. Here we have it. We have this from Holtmar's catalog on X saying Tesla is working on a dog, robot, and other robot form factors in addition to the Optimus humanoid robot. If you're not that familiar with Omar and Holmars, they can oftentimes be sarcastic, they joke around a lot, so it's tough to know if he's being serious or joking. This time around, he did say, not a joke. He was asked, are you trolling? And he said, no. Just to prove I'm not just passing along any and all information here, you may recall Ashok gave an autonomous driving workshop at CVPR last year, and at the 1919 mark you can see built generally for the car robot, the humanoid robot, and all other friendly robots. There's also this job posting for modeling and simulation design engineer, and they say the Tesla bot team designs humanoid robots and wheeled robots for manufacturing and autonomous logistics. Pair all of that with what Elon just said last week, a few other products coming too, and maybe Omar is onto something. There is one industry for Tesla that we really never talk about, and that's on the commercial and the logistics side. So in the future, maybe they plan to enter that market. Either way, if there's a more interesting company to follow this decade, then somebody please let me know what it is. As we've known, Tesla is planning to expand Giga Berlin, and now they're actually hosting an information day in the lobby of Giga Berlin, and they're sending around a shuttle bus to actually pick up some of the local community to bring them to the factory. From Moz.de, a big topic in addition to the expansion, which means the construction of a second plant for the additional production of the $25,000 model, is likely to be the intended expansion of more than 100 hectares, also known as B Plan 60. This is controversial, not least because more forest would have to be cleared. And you guessed it, there have already been some protests against this expansion. A resident survey is scheduled to start in January. New year, but same song and dance for Giga Berlin and the local opposition. It is, however, encouraging to see Tesla reach out and engage with the community directly, hosting this information day and going out of their way to provide transportation to the event. It'll take place Sunday, January 14th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Ryan's Model Y on X said, I wonder if Tesla is taking in fleet data when we manually adjust the wipers so they can learn rain conditions better. To which a senior staff engineer at Tesla, Yoon Tasai, said, yes, we do. Not perfect yet since feedback can have noise. One person's preference may not be for the others. But end-to-end makes it easier to adopt human feedback. That's why it took a while to rewrite. Thanks for the patience. For those that don't know, Tesla does not have a rain sensor up in that camera cluster on the top of the front windshield, and they're relying on data from their cameras to guess how much it's actually raining. I've also seen a lot of people over the years saying, wouldn't it just be better for Tesla to buy a $10 rain sensor like all of the other companies, rather than all of the engineering time and effort that's going into trying to figure out a good solution with the vision-only approach? If you do some basic math though, let's say Tesla sells 2 million cars this year times $10 a sensor, which might be on the lower end, that's $20 million just from 1 year of car sales. Even if Tesla had a team of 10 engineers working on this one problem alone, I don't think the cost would exceed $20 million. Even if you argue a sensor costs $5 a pop, that's still $10 million per year based on 2 million car sales. I know it's frustrating to deal with this problem and always hear about it, but I just wanted to say long term, I still think financially this is clearly the best move for Tesla to try to figure this out with its vision-only approach. From Charlie Bolello, the average price of a used Tesla Tesla has declined 18 months in a row from a record high of 67.9 thousand summer 2022 to a record low of 36.6 thousand as of today. A few factors that play into this: one, as the fleet gets older, those vehicles naturally are going to be worth less. Two, as Tesla's model mix changes, more Model Y and Model 3s in the used market relative to the S and X variant, the average sale price will come down. And three, most importantly, if Tesla drops the prices significantly on new vehicles, the used market prices also have to come down. Tesla's weekly China insurance number came in at 3,200. Plugging that data in, comparing it to week 1 of quarter 4, which is our new record quarter, that number was 1,000, so clearly ahead of pace to begin. The new record quarter, Q4, was 172,500, so over the remaining 13 weeks of the quarter, the average would need to be just over 13,000 to set a new record. Is that likely comparing Q1 to Q4? Probably not, but anything is possible with Tesla. The breakdown for December was 75,805 domestic sales and 18,300 exports. It's effectively right where we had our projections from last time based on the weekly data, so nothing really changed from that video, just confirming a new record quarter for the wholesale figure for Giga Shanghai. One thing I would keep an eye on, however, is going to be the export number when it comes to quarterly results. You can see the high watermark Q4 2022, 106.1 thousand. Over the past 4 quarters, every time sequentially that number has been declining. We know Tesla has been changing delivery strategies like unwinding the wave throughout 2023, and clearly they've been allocating more vehicles for the domestic Chinese market. But the reason any of this really matters is because typically with these export vehicles, Tesla can command a higher sales price in other regions outside of the Chinese market. So if you're someone who likes to do margin calculations, that would be something to keep in mind. From the Cox data, a trend you love to see, you have Tesla only and EV average transaction prices converging with the ICE transaction price, meaning we're effectively closer than we've ever been to EVs being at price parity with combustion vehicles. The average transaction price of a new Tesla now only $1,300 more than the ATP for an ICE vehicle. In terms of EV share of retail sales, the top 3 states in the country, California, Washington, and New Jersey, all in double digits. For you Canadians, Electrify Canada has officially switched from per minute billing to kilowatt hour billing. Drive Tesla has done some initial research. This really just happened, but they said EV owners plugging into an Electrify Canada station in BC will be paying as much as 6 to 7 times more than a Tesla owner plugging into a supercharger station. Electrify Canada will offer a Pass Plus membership to lower their rates, but it has not been updated on their website yet. Today, from the EIA, they put this out saying United States battery storage capacity is expected to nearly double this year. Once the final data for December rolls in, they're expecting this figure to be around 15 gigawatts of cumulative installed capacity, and they expect that to jump up to 30 gigawatts this year. So if you multiply 30 gigawatts by 3 to get gigawatt hours for an average 3-hour duration battery energy storage, we could be in the neighborhood of 100 gigawatt hours of deployed capacity by the end of this year. The top 5 states for installed capacity: California, Texas, Arizona, Florida, and Massachusetts. Panasonic still plans to build a 3rd EV battery plant in the United States, even though they just scrapped plans for that one in Oklahoma. Their North American president said, "We're always looking for a new site. Oklahoma is still an option." He denied that market trends affected that Oklahoma decision, saying there was no slowdown in demand for Panasonic's products. Another exec said scrapping Oklahoma was not due to shrinking demand from Tesla, but because the company was prioritizing searching for promising 2nd or 3rd new customers. Panasonic looking to diversify its customer base. For 2023, BYD was the best-selling EV brand in Thailand. BYD plans to start manufacturing EVs in Thailand later this year. Looking at the most popular EV brands in the Thai market for last year, BYD in 1st, selling 30.6 thousand EVs, Tesla in 4th, selling 8.2 thousand. In the Thai market, the BYD Atto 3 Star starts around $30,000 US. Stellantis and Blackberry, of all companies, are collaborating on a virtual cockpit that the automaker says will allow faster delivery of infotainment tech and cut development costs. It's supposed to accelerate development times, in some cases down to 24 hours from several months. Blackberry will provide the software and AWS will provide the cloud services. Stellantis expects to generate $22 billion in revenue from software and connected car services by 2030. Yes, this has been added to the tracker. KBB said the average EV tire needs to be replaced after around 30 to 40,000 miles. Now at CES, we have Goodyear unveiling a new EV tire. Goodyear expects them to be commercially available in North America starting in May. For now though, they decline to share any specs.
The Kia Concept PV5 has just arrived, and it offers a new dimension of personalized mobility. When called, the Kia Concept PV5 allows passengers to customize the interior environment according to their preferences and tastes, resulting in an optimized mobility experience. Even the seat settings can be customized to your liking. Perovskite solar cell panel applied to the transparent roof of the PBV not only supplies power to the battery during travel, but also provides electricity inside the vehicle along the rails. The PBV's steering wheel can be equipped with a mobile device, and when not in use, you can stow it away, allowing for a much wider use of the driver's seat area.
Say hello to Kia's PBV, Platform Beyond Vehicle. This is effectively a modular platform where Kia can have different types of vehicles, and they're calling it a concept, but they also said it should be ready by 2025. What you just saw was the PV5 for passengers. The PV5 can also be a van for cargo. There's a PV5 chassis cab that looks somewhat like a pickup truck of sorts for utility. And yes, they're touting a robotaxi for the late 2020s. They also have a PV7 line that will be even bigger and more focused on small businesses. Here's the PV1 for urban mobility, and they're touting some of these transitioning into pop-up stores. I think you get the picture. It's great in theory. Now let's see if they can actually pull something like this off. Kia definitely deserves some credit for what they've done so far in the EV world. We know GM's modular approach with Ultium has not been off to a great start, and Tesla takes an entirely different approach, building each specific vehicle from the ground up in a dedicated first principles fashion. If Kia plays their cards right over the next 5 to 10 years, when the dust settles, they may be one of the bigger EV mobility players, so certainly something to keep an eye on. VinFast debuted a new mid-size electric pickup at CES. Yet again, we'll see if it ever enters production. For now, we don't really have any specs. Here's a picture of the dash and one of the interior. We also have Honda planning a new line of EVs that will launch in 2026. They plan to kick this off with that saloon or a sedan in the US in 2026. The two vehicles they showed at CES were just concept and design ideas. Taste is subjective, but probably a good thing these are not the final production variants. As Sawyer just pointed out, Tesla just released a new factory satin Abyss Blue wrap in the United States for the Model 3 and Y for $6,000, and they dropped the prices for some other wraps by up to 24%. As it's been since the debut, participating Tesla service centers in California will install it. Still no word on a rollout outside of California. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.